Hey, God of mercy. Hey, God. So someone just sat down, a white man just sat down and decided to say black people wouldn't have survived if not for white people. Sir? He said black people, black Americans to be specific, that they wouldn't have survived if not for white people. Welcome to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. Let's go watch this video, and I'll be back with commentaries. Black Americans have sent shit in the hands of people, honestly. Let's go and watch.
How would black people survive on this planet if white people didn't exist? Now, some people might think of this as a joke, but this is actually a very serious question. There is nowhere on this planet an example of a self-sustaining and successful and thriving black community. I mean, let's take Africa for example. The whole world is constantly providing aid and supporting Africa from all over the world, from America, from Europe, from Russia, from China. All these major self-sustaining countries are constantly providing aid and helping Africa survive. Same thing here in America. We have all these programs like Section 8 housing, welfare, food stamps that help out the black community. So it is a real question. How would black people survive and self-sustain if white people did not exist?
Watch this video and I'll be right back.
How would black people survive on this planet if white people didn't exist? Now, some people might think of this as a joke, but this is actually a very serious question.
The truth is, you will always point your finger at black people because that's what you do. That's what white supremacists do. And you, sir, are a diehard white supremacist. You will always be pointing your finger at black folks, and you will never point your finger at white people. You will never point your finger and acknowledge what we've done in the most serious way without a big fat deflection, without a big fat denial, without a big fat butt in it. You need white supremacy because that's your fucking crutch. So the difference between white people and black people is you, sir, and your people, my people, white people, are morally inferior race because we continue to support, uplift, and enable white supremacy. That's our fucking crutch, and that's why we're inferior morally. And that's why you will never, ever acknowledge all the shit that white man has done to black people today and yesterday. Absolutely no question about it. The black people, all black people would be thriving if it were not for the white man. The white man has stolen every single resource out of Africa, including people. Human trafficking, enslavement, colonization. They have robbed, raped that continent of every single resource imaginable. Absolutely. If white people did not exist, all black people would be thriving. That goes without question, as would all indigenous people and most brown people too. It was the white man's greed. It was the white man's genocide, the white man's enslavement, and the white man's colonization that fucked this world up. And that's one thing that white people have never understood, was because of the damage the white man caused. Remember this, the white people, white man, has always been disagreeable in times of peace.
Y'all interrupted us. That's what happened. We were thriving, and y'all, white folks, back then, interrupted us. If we weren't interrupted, we would have been thriving still. Remember, diversity equal power. We could change the world when we work together and protect black women. Until next time.
Black people would die without white people. And quite frankly, they're our only allies that we have in this world. Africans sure as hell don't like us. And quite frankly, they're the ones that sold us into slavery. And if you really think about it, we don't produce anything, we don't own anything, and we damn sure do not know how to live off the land. And with all the dysfunction that is coming out of our communities, I don't think people will want to help us. We as a community need to change our worldview, and we have to be accountable for the things that is happening within our community and actually come together and do something about it. This toxic relationship that we have with white people and this built up anger that we have against them, it needs to come to an end. I'm telling you guys, the people at the top is loving this. As we stay distracted, they destroy our country. True Americans do not care about race. And if you are a person that cares about race, then you are a part of the problem. We live in the greatest country in the world, and there's people out there that would die to be in our positions. And there's people out there that do die to try to get here. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, united we stand and divided we fall.
The white men in the top 1% have successfully made a good portion of the white men in the lower class, the poor white men, think that the poor black man is his enemy, is the reason why he's suffering. I literally had somebody in the comments say, I'm a white man who struggled raising my 5 kids. I got denied for SNAP because I'm white. No, you got denied for SNAP because the guidelines for SNAP are incredibly strict. It doesn't matter your race. SNAP workers don't have the ability to say, oh, you're white, I'm denying you. They're looking at your income, and the income is very strict. Which brings me to another point of why are people on the right so obsessed with people that get SNAP when it's already hard enough to get it? And being white doesn't make you not get it. But this person obviously has something against black people. They think they're the enemy. They think that a poor black person has the exact same experience, the exact same struggles as a poor white man. No, they have all of your problems and so much more against them. It just makes me wonder why people don't choose to educate themselves on this and they just want somebody to not like because they're suffering. And so somebody that's suffering more than them, they have to hurt them instead of looking at the top 1%, at the rich people. Why are you mad at other poor people? Why are you mad at other poor people just because they have a different skin color than you and you need somebody to look down on? Why are you not looking down on the people that are above you? Why are you not looking at their greed? Why are you not looking at their manipulation tactics that convinced you to scapegoat another human being who's never hurt you? If you've been brainwashed by the system, you know that you can wake up, right? You can educate yourself. You can educate other people. You cannot let these rich people succeed at what they're trying to do to us. It's us versus them. It's us versus them. It's not us versus us. That's what they want. They want the little poor people to fight against each other, right? And the middle class even. They don't want us fighting against the rich, because if we fight against the rich, we have power. Because we have power in numbers. There's more of us than them. But that makes too much sense, right? You just want to be angry. You want to be angry as somebody who's born with more struggles than you are, and then has your struggles on top of it. Why are people like this? And then when you point this out to people, they just they always have something else to say instead of just listening to what you're saying and soaking it in and being like, wait a second, you have a point. It's crazy.
I am so sick and tired of this chip that you're carrying on your shoulder. We have bent over backwards. We have done backflips to make you feel equal. And yet, we've done everything. Perfect example is in the federal government. If you and I get the exact same rating for a position, do you know what? You get it. And do you know why? Because you're black. Is that fair? Is that fair to me?
There is a woeful lack of understanding, not only in the black community, but really in the white community, of why black people are in the condition that we're in, and why all of the efforts that whites have made and government has made to try to solve the problem in the way that government sees fit has not really worked. And blacks are still crying out for more and more and more. And I realize that this is an irritant to white people because you really don't understand. And it's not really your fault. It's not really your fault. You just don't understand. But I think if you gave yourself a chance to hear what happened to these black people that makes them as they are as an irritant to you and those who think you have done the best you could. And maybe you have, but I respectfully suggest to you that there's so much more that could be done, that should be done, and that must be done if America is to survive. Believe me.
White people will never pay the black people back for what they've done to us. Never.
What they did to you? I mean,
They done a lot of things wrong. They killed and shut our black people down. They took the land off them. They took our culture off them. Now they're trying to take our pride, but no ways. They got no chance of getting that. There's too many pride being broken, hated, many hearts been broken over what happened years ago in the older generation. And it's the young generation in days of today that stands up and fight for what happened to the old generation and old people.
History has never just been about what happened. It's about what's been told, and more importantly, what's been left out. For centuries, Black history has been clipped down to pain, chained to struggle, and packaged neatly between slavery and civil rights. But that's not our beginning, and it's certainly not our whole story. Most of us were taught a version of Black history that was incomplete at best. We didn't learn about Queen Zinga, Mansa Musa, or thriving communities like Black Wall Street. We missed out on the brilliance, the innovation, and the power that shaped the world. That's why Black History Unlocked created the history books forgot to say we were more than enslaved, a digital ebook that reclaims the truth and tells the stories you probably didn't learn in school. Click the link in our bio to get your copy today and reclaim the new.
The whites don't even see you as American. They see you as second-class citizen from Africa. This is why they call you African American. The difference between Black Americans and Africans is we don't give a fuck about what white people see us as or what white people think. We do not care. We don't worship whiteness. Not in 2025. When they threatened us with segregation, majority of us said, bring it on. We don't give a damn. We're not walking up to them. White people care about Black people in America way more than we care about them. We're not trying to get invited to their cookouts. We're not trying to force ourselves in their spaces. Not in 2025. That's not what's happening. White people are constantly minding our business and coming up to us and asking us questions and wanting to be included and wanting to be invited and wanting to know what we got going on. Have you ever seen Karen videos? White women, they be obsessed. Obsessed. Utterly obsessed. We do not worship white people like y'all. A lot of y'all uphold white superiority. You ever want to see what leave it up to one of y'all. We don't do that bootlicking shit over here. We don't care what they think or what they consider us. We know what's on our birth certificates. I know what it says on my passport. I know where my lineage comes from. I know where my ancestors come from. It's a psychological mind trick to think that white people are fucking superior to you. There ain't no motherfucking white person superior to me. That hatred, that shit is love. Love and hate lives on the same spectrum. They love us so fucking much. They're so obsessed that it brewed into hate. A lot of it is envy, jealousy, admiration, inferiority. Not all, not all, not all. Spread love is the Brooklyn way. The fuck?
I need y'all to read this comment. This comment is in response to another comment that said that they think that America is a safe space until they go into certain neighborhoods. And this person responded, Black neighborhoods are like sundown towns for white people. Can we just let's just talk about what a sundown town is, okay? A sundown town is a place, a town that is predominantly white or all white for that matter. And when the sun goes down, they will unalive Black and brown bodies that are still in that town. And they won't face legal ramifications for it. Because usually it's the cops help in doing the unaliving. There is not now, nor has there ever been, a sundown town for white people. Because racism doesn't work against white people. It benefits.
I hate when people try to say that patriarchy comes before white supremacy. This is the most ahistorical take in existence. And I think it's because white people cannot fathom a reality where they were not white. Your whiteness has only existed for 500 years. White people were the first people to be colonized under white supremacy. Before you were white, you were Irish, you were Scottish, you were Gaelic, you were Celtic. And all of these groups had a pantheon of gods and goddesses. History shows that in non-Christian societies all throughout Europe, women had various roles in societies. They were leaders, they were warriors, they were priests, they were politicians. Evidence consistently and overwhelmingly shows that pre-Christian societies, even in Europe, were egalitarian. When the Holy Roman Empire introduced Christianity to various pagan societies, they subjugated all of the women. That is what introduced paternalism. White supremacy, patriarchy, Christianity, and colonialism go hand in hand. Original disease to all people, white, black, indigenous, will always be white supremacy, because white people were the first colonized people. But you failed to realize that because you bit the bait, right? And the bait was conditional acceptance and certain freedoms in order to police the bottom class, which is black and indigenous people. You are so far socialized, programmed, and colonized by mind that you have forgotten that you have not always been white. You cannot even remember a reality in which you were not white. White supremacy is the original disease to all people, and that is a hill that I will gladly die on.
Swear to God that a lot of racism is rooted in sexual jealousy about specifically black men, but most other races I've noticed that white men are jealous. And while this is more typically pronounced in regards to black men because of these stereotypes about black men's, there is a lot of envy from white men for men of color for very different reasons. Maybe it's the stereotypes of them being perceived as hardworking or dedicated, ambitious individuals, all of things that a lot of white men struggle with. Not to mention the way that a lot of Indian people could come to the US and literally start a business and thrive is really impressive. But it's just crazy how much racism is rooted in jealousy, specifically white men's inability to satisfy women, because that seems to be a problem that quite a lot of people have reported with white partners or husbands. Even with my content, I get a lot of white men in my DMs who want me to bully them or like sexually talk to them, down to them in a weird way, genuinely have inferiority complexes. I mean, these people are seriously psychologically upset and depressed over the way that they look. And so whatever amount of superiority they claim to feel on their white skin certainly doesn't extend to the bedroom. I will just say that.
So let me chime in on how people are making it right now in America with inflation at an all-time high. People that are making $35 an hour, $40 an hour are still broke. So you wonder, am I the only one feeling this? I know you guys are driving around in your city, seeing people still at the grocery stores, still in the fast food lines, still acting as everything is normal. But there's one thing that, if you haven't noticed, people are not using their money to survive right now. They're using credit cards. And if you look at America's credit card usage right now, it is at an all-time high. Most families are already maxed out. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that's gonna send everything into let's say a bad spot. They're not going to pay these credit cards back. They're spending knowing that they're not going to pay these credit cards back. And so now that these people's credit cards are maxed out And credit companies are no longer giving them money to survive and buy their food because we don't have any help in our food. If you make money like I make money, you go to that grocery store, or your wife goes, because I haven't been in the grocery store in I don't know how long, but my wife goes to the grocery store. And if we don't spend $600 or $700 on a grocery trip, I'm surprised. But my situation is different. I have a lot of kids, but you wonder how people are making it out here, and they are not making it off their own money. Plus, let's put the other thing in perspective. You have the government saying that job numbers are through the roof. They have created so many jobs and people are taking these jobs. And that's not true. The fact of the matter is, people are taking on second jobs and third jobs just to put food on the table for their family. Mind you, in the richest country in the world, something's not right. If you are somebody out there surviving right now, taking care of your kids, and your money's going up, I salute you. But 99% of people right now, their pockets are suffering badly, to the point where the government even said that by the end of this month, most likely 99% of Americans will have run out of any savings. Wow. This is crazy.
Do you ever stop and think about how life as a Black woman in America requires disassociation? Like, we are so routinely faced with microaggressions and overt racism that you don't have a choice but to not react to it and essentially not feel it in the moment. Because if you were to feel all of it every time it happened, crash outs would be on the regular, your sanity would escape you, and prison would await you. Anyone else? No? Just me?
I was reading and I saw that some white people are wondering why Black Americans are not worried or stressed about what's going on around us. Now, I can't speak for all Black people, but I do feel confident enough to say it's not that we're not concerned about what's going on in the world, but we didn't create this mess either. You understand? And so it always comes a time when the chickens have to come home to roost. Now, it is a shame that it's going to fall at the hands of many innocent people. But the truth of the matter is a large majority of you are complicit because you voted for this administration. Not because of what their platform was, but because of your hatred towards Black and brown people. And that's just the truth about it. And so now many white Americans are online crying, talking about this is not what we voted for. This is not. No, it is. He showed his hand. He told you who he was. You just chose not to believe it because you thought you had the complexion for the protection. But little did you know that the only color that this man sees is green, money. And because the large majority of you, especially those of you who voted for him, are not at the higher echelon of wealth and abundance, you're suffering. Now, as Black Americans, and we are used to this type of struggle. And so that's why you see us dancing, singing, going on with our lives, planning for the future, because we've seen something like this before. This is not new to us nor our ancestors. And I guess my biggest advice to you is don't worry about why we are not worried. Don't concern yourself as to why we are singing and dancing and joyful. Your concern should be when we stop singing. And when we stop dancing, when we stop being joyful, and when we stop praying, and when we stop listening to the ancestors, and we choose to go a different route. That is what you should be concerned about. Okay? Because you weren't concerned about us or our needs or other brown people's needs or other disenfranchised groups' needs before your food stamps were taken, before your health care was taken, before all of your benefits and your job was taken and your farms and all that. You didn't care. So again, we know our joy and strength does not come from anything human, but from God and the ancestors. So there you have it. The chickens have come home to roost.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and that's all I got for this video. And the fact that a lot of these or some of these white folks think that they are literally doing black people a favor, it's madness. It's crazy. That's just the honest truth, because at the end of the day, black people are the ones doing you guys a favor. Because let's just say reverse is the case. Do you think that you people would have been where you are today? Do you think that you people would have survived today? For a white man to just sit down and said black people wouldn't have thrived if not for white people. And I have literally seen another part of video that this white man literally claims that black people should be grateful for slavery. Black Americans specifically should be grateful for slavery. That if not for slavery, black Americans wouldn't have been in America today. That black American would literally have been in different African countries and looking for ways to come to America. And that's why the first question I keep asking them whenever I see this video in their comments is, who told you slavery was only from Africa? Who told you every single black Americans are from Africa? I just come to that conclusion to understand that some people adapt, that they can literally not comprehend anything. They don't do research, they don't do anything. They just go ahead to say whatsoever they think comes to their mind. And that is why if black Americans are not even bothered about them, I'm so happy, I'm so excited. Black people help white people thrive, as far as I'm concerned. Black people paved the way for white people, whether you like it or not. Even before the existence of slavery and every other thing that took place in America, we had people we called indigenous black American. It's people that have literally been in America, people that have been struggling American, making sure American is standing, making sure American is being developed, making sure America is building. We already had people, black people creating and inventing different type of thing before even the era of slavery, colonization, and everything that happened in America. So for some white people not to do research, for them to have the audacity, pick up their microphone and say something like this, or always want black people to be grateful for every single thing that black people have been through, is madness as far as I'm concerned. That is absolute madness. And that is why when I see some of these white folks bash their fellow white folks and tell them the history of their life, I really do appreciate that. And I love to see such kind of videos. Because it is only 1% out of 100, I can tell you, it's only 1% of white people that understand the struggles of black American. And as at this point, I'm happy that black Americans do not even want you to understand their struggles anymore. They do not even want you to see their struggles anymore. They just want to be their self. They just want to do their thing. They just want to exist. They just want to live. They just want to enjoy. They just want to mind their business. These same people that will always keep saying black Americans should be happy, that without them they can't thrive, are the same people that will literally come out and still beg black Americans for help, beg black people for help. You people wouldn't have survived if not for black people. You people wouldn't have thrived if not for black people. You people wouldn't have lived if not for black people. And I hope a lot of white people should be able to know this. So if a lot of black people are not saying anything, keeping quiet, and you people can went to the point of bringing videos like this, any kind of stitch that you guys are going to be seeing, you people should endure. You people should enjoy it as the saga is coming. Before you know, they will finish all their saga, they'll be running away. Sometimes they will go ahead and lock their comment section. Sometimes they will go ahead and delete the videos. Sometimes they'll just go ahead and delete the accounts totally. So you're starting the battle that you cannot finish. It is such a pity and it's such a shame, honestly. Let me know what you guys think in this particular video. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you. Liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be seeing back and I'll see you guys in my next one. Disclaimers, this is just for educational purposes only and nothing but that. I'll see you guys later. Bye for now. I love you guys. Mwah.